Today we're going to talk about something that is, believe it or not, secretly running our lives: dopamine. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to take back control with something called a dopamine detox. So let me just ask you this. Have you ever sat down at your desk? You know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, that one big important task, but you just can't make yourself start. Instead, you find yourself checking your email, scrolling through your phone, grabbing another cup of coffee, anything but the actual work. Well, if that sounds even a little bit familiar, I've got some good news for you. The problem isn't that you're lazy or that you lack willpower. Nope. The real culprit here is overstimulation. Okay, so let's really dive into what's going on here. In this crazy modern world, our ability to just sit down and focus has become incredibly rare. It's a valuable commodity. So many of us feel like we're just spinning on a hamster wheel of distraction. We're always busy, but we're not actually getting the important stuff done. We know we can do more, but we just feel stuck. And the key to unlocking this whole puzzle is understanding dopamine. We've all heard it called the pleasure chemical, right? But that's actually a bit of a myth. It's really the molecule of more. See, it's not about the pleasure you get from the reward itself. It's all about that feeling of anticipation, that craving that pushes you to go get the reward. Now, this system was absolutely essential for our survival. It's what pushed our ancestors to find food, to find a mate. But today, that exact same ancient reward system, well, it's being hijacked. And let's be honest, tech companies, food companies, they have become absolute masters at triggering this dopamine response. That little red notification bubble, the endless scroll of videos on YouTube, that unpredictable chance of getting a new email, all of it is designed to give us a little hit of anticipation that keeps us hooked and scrolling for more. So what's the result of all this? When we're constantly getting bombarded with these easy, high dopamine activities, our brain's baseline for what it considers stimulating gets set way, way too high. And when that happens, the important but less stimulating work, like writing a big report or studying for an exam, it just feels painfully dull and almost impossible to start. So what's the fix? How do we get out of this trap? Well, the answer is something called a dopamine detox. Think of it as the perfect antidote to this modern problem of constant overstimulation. To put it really simply, a dopamine detox is all about intentionally reducing the amount of external stimulation you're exposed to. The whole goal is to lower that baseline we were just talking about, so that normal, productive things start to feel interesting and engaging again. And the benefits here are huge. We're talking about feeling naturally motivated again, getting rid of all those unproductive distractions, and just regaining a sense of peace and focus in your life. It's about experiencing real fulfillment from your work, not just chasing the next fleeting bit of excitement. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? Well, here's a really simple 3-step plan you can use to start reclaiming your focus. It's honestly pretty straightforward. First, you just identify your biggest distractions by making a simple list of things you can do and can't do. Second, and this part is key, you add friction to make those bad habits harder to slip into. And third, you start your day off right with a low-stimulation morning routine. Let's really focus on that second step for a minute because it is brilliant. See, our brains are fundamentally lazy. They're wired to conserve energy and take the path of least resistance. So by adding friction, you're basically using your brain's own laziness against it. You make it harder to get that cheap dopamine hit, so it's less likely to even bother trying. And here are some fantastic, super practical examples. Is your phone the main problem? Don't just put it on silent. No. Turn it completely off and put it in another room. Add layers of effort. Are you addicted to the YouTube feed? Install a browser extension that just blocks it. The more steps you put between you and the distraction, the better your chances are of winning that battle. Now, doing a detox for a day or two, that's one thing. But the real challenge, as we all know, is making it stick. It's all about avoiding that inevitable relapse back into old habits. To do that, you have to understand this idea of open systems. Think about your email inbox or your social media feed. They are literally endless. There's no point where you can say, okay, I'm done. They are specifically designed to be a bottomless pit for your attention. The solution? You have to start your day with a closed system. This is something with a clear purpose and a defined endpoint, like a blank Word document or a fresh spreadsheet. There are no notifications, there's no infinite scroll, it's just you and the task at hand.
Starting your day this way prevents that whole stimulation spiral before it even has a chance to begin.
And this brings us to what is maybe the most important part of this whole thing, building a sustainable system. Because look, you are going to relapse. It's just going to happen. The goal is not perfection, it's being resilient. When you notice yourself slipping, the absolute key is to just restart without beating yourself up. Being self-critical just pushes you right back into those distracting habits. So instead, have a plan for your biggest triggers and cultivate simple grounding activities like going for a short walk. It's about building a lifestyle that protects your focus because it is so valuable. So, when you boil it all down, it really comes down to a choice, a conscious decision that you have to make every single day. And this choice is laid out perfectly right here. You can actively choose to control your focus to protect it, or you can just passively let someone else, an app, a company, an algorithm, take it away from you for their own gain. The power to decide is completely in your hands. So, what are you going to choose?